Oh, 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 there you are. Is anything going on today? Because I just feel so bored. Oh, wait a minute. Brexit happened. Yes. By the way, I got so much to talk about. I don't know, like, if I'm going to be able to put it in this video because I don't want you guys to get bored. I could just ramble on now for like a 30-minute video. Last night, when I sent out my special update, my MMT Trader update to all of you wonderful subscribers, I said it was a done deal. By the way, all the polls, and I'll tell you something, you can go check this out. You don't have to take my word for it. All the polls, like at 6:30 p.m. here in, maybe even later, here in New York time, and even some of these betting sites, and the betting sites, they're very, very reliable indicators. They have very reliable track records. I saw one on PredictWise at 6:30 last night that showed Remain with 88% and Brexit with 12%. I mean, you don't get much of a contrast, an extreme more than that very often. And if you look at that chart this morning, the whole thing flipped. But I started to see it late last night, and that's when all hell broke loose. So where do I even begin? I'm just going to say, number one, all the selling right now is absolute insanity. It is insanity. It is psychotic. Okay. Number two, I blame the media, and they're there again today. I mean, they're out pumping out all this fear mongering. You watch TV, and you watch TV news shows where basically it's entertainment news shows, and these people are all of a sudden, they're like financial experts, and they're talking about hits to people's 401ks and their retirement money. They're scaring the daylights out of people, okay? Last night, I saw the S&P futures and the Dow futures. They went limit down last night for a short period of time. Market was down, I don't know, 600-700 points, the Dow, something like that. They hit the pound. I actually bought some British pound, very small position in the Forex market at 135.24 or 1.3524. And watched it go down to 132. Then went to sleep, woke up this morning, it was trading at 139. So I took a profit, not at 139, a little bit less. All right. Here's the thing. As a trader, first of all, as an economist, as an MMT guy, I'm going to tell you again that this is all just a load of crap. Okay. All the selling, all the fear mongering. I'm going to say one more time. Fiscal and monetary policy is not going to change. Trade policy, we'll see what's going to happen. Europe is not, the countries within Europe, and even if Britain is, not part of Europe, quote unquote, trade is still going to be going on. They're going to hammer out some other trade deals. Okay, trade is not going to stop. The only real thing that I hear people talking about is uncertainty. And again, that's just a bogus, ridiculous argument. There's always uncertainty. Uncertainty is the natural order of things. To say there's uncertainty and, the market's down 600, 700, 800 points is just absolutely ludicrous. All right. The thing I don't like about today, just from a technical standpoint, is that last night we sold off so hard. We got down to 132 in the British pound against the dollar. We're down, I think, 700 points in the Dow or something like that. We're going to see those lows again. That's not to say we're going to see them today, but we'll see them at some point. A lot of other things. You had David Cameron, the British Prime Minister, resigning today. Poor guy, he was resigning in tears. Like, oh, this was the guy who was caught in the Panama Papers scandal as people found out he was funneling millions and millions of dollars into banks in the Caribbean, all right? And then he came out, with this audacious comment, having great wealth is a burden sometimes. You have to understand, us wealthy people, we need to be able to hide it in certain places. You can't blame us. Meanwhile, his policies in Britain have been all about stripping money away from the middle class and the poor. I mean, and not just taking money away from them, just really demoralizing those people at the same time. I mean, it's not enough to just create greater hardship for people, but at the same time you have to demoralize them. I mean, what kind of person is that? What kind of government is that? So the guy's gone, all right? But who knows if the next leader, whoever that's going to be, Farage or Boris, is going to be any better. They're right wingers. They might continue with the same policy, but that's the point. Policy is going to remain the same. Okay. Gold went up $100 last night. By the way, we bought gold. I bought gold. It was in the MMT trader. I sent it out. We bought gold on the pullback 2 days ago at 1272 in the COMEX gold futures. Also bought GDX at 2484. And last night we got filled on our GLD position at 120.23. Gold was up $100 last night. I sent out a special update for you people to take profit over 1,300 an ounce. It went up to 60 or 1355. I got out at 1304. Cha-ching. So what was almost a $3,000 profit on that one per contract. The GLD, that traded up to I think 127 this morning. The GDX traded up to well, maybe that one traded up to 27. The GLD traded up to 126, I believe, and change. So doing very well on that. The stock positions that we have, yeah, they're gonna be taking some heat today, but you know, this is going to set up some great buying opportunities. I just don't think it's going to be today because we're already getting a bounce today, and I think we're going to see those lows tested. Here's the thing going forward. You're going to get people now talking about Italy pulling out, talking about Portugal pulling out, talking about Spain pulling out, okay? Talking about Netherlands pulling out. So all the fear-mongering that we saw leading up to Brexit, you're going to continue to have that. Now, remember, the markets were doing fine even with the fear-mongering. It was the vote. Okay, and by the way, it didn't fall 20%, the British pound, like Soros had predicted. It fell 10%, and then it bounced back. So the important thing to remember here, once again, and by the way, you know, and I wrote this last night or this morning in an email I sent out. You know, NATO is now putting nuclear missiles on the border of Russia. The United States Navy is conducting war games in the Baltic Sea, where it has never conducted war games before. We are conducting economic warfare against Russia. There's not a peep about that anywhere. That is infinitely more dangerous to the world than Britain pulling out of the EU, yet every single story is all about Britain pulling out of the EU, which is absolutely ridiculous, okay? We should be talking about, you don't think about it. What if Russia got together with North Korea and Iran and Cuba and China and went up to the border of Canada and went down to the border of Mexico and installed nuclear missiles pointed right at the United States? I mean, there would be World War III in an instant. And that's exactly what NATO, Washington, is doing to Russia, and nobody is talking about it. And the reason is because Washington controls the media. Russia does not have the power of Western media. Nothing is greater than that. The people here in the United States are totally brainwashed. They don't know what's going on. They absolutely don't know what's going on. And the media sells fear. That's what it's all about, man. That's what gets you to watch. That's the biggest motivator that there is fear. So I say today, I don't know if there's much to do today. There might be. Stock market is going to be fine over time. It's going to be, a bumpy ride, but it always is. When is it not, right? I like when people say, oh, it's uncertainty. Well, guess what? The minute when there's not uncertainty, that's when you have to worry. Anyway, maybe this was a little bit of a cryptic video, but there's a lot to talk about, obviously, and I'll probably come back with more thoughts later. But that's it for now. Bye-bye.